Hi everyone, in this video I want to talk a little bit about a focus that I've been having with squats lately, and it's helped a little bit with my IT band, but it makes sense that it will help more in the future. It's not going to be an immediate fix to kind of my IT band issue. And also some talk about some things that have been working very well with my Olympic lifts. I'll also be including some slow motion clips. I believe all the clips I recorded were at 30 frames per second, so the slow motion won't be at the greatest quality, at least for what I can record with this camera. I will try to remember to record in 60 frames per second because the camera here has that ability to record in that, so I can try to remember to do that next time. If I don't, then you'll just have to live with the lesser quality slow motion, but who knows, maybe it'll be pretty nice. But without any more procrastination, let's get right into this video. You remember. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the squats, and kind of something that popped into my head randomly. But for a while when I watch Olympic lifters, or usually women, sounds horribly sexist, but usually it's with women and Olympic lifters, is when they start to squat up, their knees buckle in when they get in kind of that sticking point position. I see it a lot in Olympic lifting and a lot with women when they're squatting, and it's something that is it just terrifies me. It looks horrible for your knees. It just looks it's something I never want my knees to do. And they will still, my knees will be out here and they'll move in a little bit like that, but they'll never buckle in that crazily much. If they ever did, I would probably just flip the weight off my back and just stop the lift. I wouldn't try to push through that, because that would just terrify me way too much. But I realized that because I have that sort of fear of my knees buckling in, that I overcompensate for something that really hasn't ever been an issue by pushing my knees out. And so the weight is almost on the outside of my foot more so than it being more balanced on just my whole foot in general. So I think this having my weight on the outside of my foot more has put more strain on the outside of my legs, and that may have made IT band, the issue with it, more exasperated from what it was before. So hopefully I'm able to focus more on just pushing with my whole foot and keeping the weight more of just even and pushing straight up, more so than pushing my knees out, because like I said, I've never really had an issue with my knees buckling in, so I'm not really too concerned about that. And if it becomes an issue, I can always fix it from there. But I think that will put more of the strain, and I don't know if this has to do with that change of focus or the fact that I just killed myself in, was it yesterday or the day before? What's today? Sunday, so on Friday. When I went to do, I worked up to a heavy single on squats, and then I worked up to 2 heavy singles on bench, and then I did the bench last, and then I did deficit deadlifts, and the next day my entire body was sore. So I don't know if it was because of the change of the squat, or just because I did like tons and tons of volume on one day. Probably the tons of volume. But I found that when I kept the weight more in the middle, it put a little bit less strain. I mean, my IT band is just going to hurt anyway, but I think it felt a little bit better, and it could have just been a mental thing as well. But it's something that makes sense to me at least at this moment, to kind of work on, because pushing with your whole foot's going to be better than pushing to the outside and then pushing straight up instead of pushing out and then up. And we'll see how it works for the future with that. But that's about all that's been happening with squats. I PR'd the last time I did back squats. I did 385 for a single, which is the most I've ever done without a belt, and I think 5 pounds off my lifetime PR as far as a high bar. And I did that with a belt, so if I put a belt on, I'd probably be able to get a double at 390 if I was lucky. I don't know. That might be stretching it a bit too much. But yeah, so we can move on to Olympic lifts now. It's fucking over. So I've been working on different cues that have been given to me by my friend Justin with Olympic lifts, and it has been a more benefit to excuse me, got a carrot stuck in my throat because I'm having a big bowl of carrots. But one of the cues is pretty much to get it up to past your knees and to keep your legs from bending or straightening up until it gets closer to my body, and kind of using my legs more to jump up. And it's something I've been trying to work on, and it's worked a lot better when I've done hang cleans and hang snatches and different things like that, because I can get in that really good position right below my knees and then just get right into a good position to pop up. And what I found today is I did full snatches and full cleans, or I guess power cleans and power snatches, but I did them from the ground, And what I found is I was able to get into that position a lot more, and for snatches it helped tremendously into getting the weight up, and I was able to do 145 pounds for 5 reps, which 5 reps for just power snatches or just snatches in general is a lot to do, especially with a heavier weight for me. But also the fact that I was able to comfortably do 5. I probably could have done even more because I was just, my form really clicked at that time, which is odd because my entire body was sore. I had done front squats before that, I had done clean and jerks before that, and so I was not expecting, I almost was like, I'm just gonna skip snatches. I was just about to skip snatches, but I said I'll try it and see how it feels, and it just clicked really well. So for whatever reason, snatches went really well today, and I wanted to push. I wanted to push to do more, but I wanted to be cautious because my shoulder is a little bit iffy after doing clean and jerks, and the fact that I was just really sore. I didn't want to completely destroy myself from doing those. But also with cleans, it has the same kind of carryover. I just found it's a little bit easier of a cue to work on with snatches because it's more of one movement than clean jerks, because obviously you have the jerks and that's a separate movement. But with just the clean part and with the snatch, I found that cue has really worked, and when it really moves quickly up, I find that that's when I look back on the video, that's when it looks like I've done the cue better, and when it doesn't, it's more when I'm just trying to jerk it with my back because I have such a high deadlift compared, or my posterior chain is well developed. I tend to just go to that when I start to struggle with the weight, just because that's the tendency when that's a strength of myself. But thankfully today, like, snatches felt wonderful, so hopefully I'll be able to just continually to progress with that. I'm not worried about hitting a new 1 rep max with that per se, but if I can do my old PR for a double or something, that would be really cool. And clean and jerks, the only thing other with jerks is just trying to just get used to the movement more, and it's slowly but surely working. Cleans is kind of the same thing with snatches. They're relatively a pretty similar movement, and so a lot of the cues stay the same, and I'm finding that I'm a lot more comfortable with snatches than with clean and jerks, which is kind of odd, seeing how I haven't done snatches quite as long. But who knows with that? That could always change if once I start getting more able to do the jerk part of the clean and jerks, but who knows with that. But I'll end this video here, so let me know your thoughts or comments down below, and how you like the slow motion that you would have seen hopefully by this point. If I have it at this point in the video, then it might get cut off. But anywho, like I said, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and as always, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.